5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we should be
Hello,
live.
and welcome to an amazing Rich Alvarez live stream. I am, as always, your host, Rich Alvarez. With me, as always, is Chris Mueller over there.
Hello, good to see you.
And my girlfriend, Sam. And if that statement confuses you, you should watch the video I posted earlier on this channel. Anyways, moving on. So today is going to be our Christmas-themed stream, and I really wanted to talk about Christmas stuff because it is December, it's past my birthday. Remember, Christmas is not allowed to start till after December 5th because it's my birthday first. So anyways, now we're in ample Christmas time.
Rich is turning Christmas into Richmas, apparently.
Ah, yes. So we're going to be talking about our favorite and least favorite Christmas movies, which movies don't really qualify as Christmas movies, and what are other people's favorite Christmas movies that I feel aren't really about Christmas. And maybe if there's time, talk about some Christmas music as well. Thank you so much, Blue Feathers, Sun Goku, Make a Shadow, and everybody who is watching the stream live. So,
Thanks for joining.
the first thing we want to talk about, let's start it on a positive note, Chris. Let's talk about our favorite Christmas movies. Do you have a favorite?
I do.
And that would be what?
really like the 1990 Home Alone with Macaulay Culkin. I'm pretty sure it came out in 1990. Who's our guest, by the way, Rich?
Oh, over here, this is Clara. she's very old. She's 17 years old. Hey, she's as old as the YouTube channel.
Hey! Good year.
Except
Good
the
year.
difference between a YouTube channel and a cat is that this cat needs special attention. Well, I guess so does the YouTube channel, but in different ways.
Yeah. But yeah, so
Just gonna chill.
So Home Alone, I really like Home Alone, and there's multiple reasons for it. The music is amazing. Obviously, it's John Williams, but
Yes,
it's
John
got
Williams.
a lot of just the classic Christmas songs. I'll still actually listen to the Home Alone soundtrack during Christmas because it's so good.
It is good,
But
yeah.
it's a good movie because it just has a very nice, warm message. It's got like that whole like meaning of Christmas. I'm sure Rich has more thoughts that I won't steal his thunder, and I'll let him expand
Oh,
upon it later
well-
when he does his grand theory of what ties all the Christmas movies together. But I like Home Alone. It's been like a staple. I watch it almost every year. It's like my go-to.
Make a Shadow says, I like Home Alone 2 better.
Home Alone 2 is good.
And I would argue, I think I also like the second one better because I love the New York theme and everything, and Tim Curry as the maitre d' or whatever,
Bellhop, yeah. Not bellhop, yeah.
and Rob Schneider as
Rob
well.
Schneider.
Sam, do you have Rob Schneider is the bellhop? Do you have a favorite Christmas movie?
I know it's probably most people's favorite, but I gotta go with Elf. Every year, Elf. It's great. It's a classic. It's always funny, no matter how many times I watch it.
Do you have a favorite scene from Elf?
A favorite scene? Probably when he's either getting, or no, actually, you know what? It's the Norwal. It's when he's like, bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
That's a
is
good
pretty
one. I think that, Will Ferrell tried to recapture that magic with his Christmas movie last year, Spirited.
Not the same?
It's not as good.
We didn't even finish it.
Yeah, we didn't finish it.
We didn't finish it.
I love Will Ferrell and I love Ryan Reynolds, but that movie was, I don't know, just didn't work.
I was, it's funny about Elf. I was just reading an article. Actually, it wasn't an article. It was a random person on Reddit. But they said that Elf feels like the last classic Christmas movie because it came out before smartphones came out. So it feels a little bit timeless because it's not like lots of social media jokes. It's not everybody on their smartphones. It came out right before the iPhone. It has like a timeless feel to it. So I thought, it does kind of feel like the last. Well, actually, there's one I'll mention later in this video. But I do feel like that it has a good contender to be the last like classic Christmas movie.
So my favorite Christmas movie ever since I was a youngin' was The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. I think it came out in '94, so I was like 7 or something at the time.
Gremlins.
Oh boy, well we'll get to that later.
We'll get there.
So I love The Santa Claus, and I know this is somewhat debatable, but like I know that some people say, oh, the first Santa Claus is great, and then the sequels kind of, the sequels are a different tone because he's already Santa Claus, but I love the sequels too. And I actually I've been watching the Santa Clauses, the show that continues that story, and I just love it. But the original, The Santa Claus with Tim Allen, What an incredible movie. It also came out in 94, so, we talked about this before. Tim Allen had the best-selling movie, the best-selling book, and the top-viewed TV show, which was Home Improvement, all that same year. He was the number one highest rated, highest viewed, highest paid actor in Hollywood at the time. And then Toy Story came out like the next year or the year after. And, obviously Tim Allen has had a very successful career. But the Santa Claus is fantastic. It's really great. So if you haven't seen it, see it. I don't consider any other actor Santa Claus except for Tim Allen.
I don't know. Have you seen the commercial that came out? What was the thing we saw before a movie?
Oh,
It was John Travolta. Yeah. Where
That's
he's
a pretty
walking
funny
down the
commercial.
street. Yeah, it is pretty good. Also a little off-putting.
True.
Blue Feather says, what about Jingle All the Way? Another classic. I love Arnold in that movie. Yeah, McKinley says, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? I don't know if you were here for the very beginning of this stream, but I said eventually we're going to get to Christmas movies that, well, I'm not even going to spoil it. We're going to talk about things like Gremlins and Die Hard in just a minute. But before we do, let's go over least favorite Christmas movies, starting with Chris.
Any Home Alone movie that was not Macaulay Culkin. So I would say I know they made a Home Alone 3. And I kind of stopped watching
I don't
after
remember if Home Alone 3 even takes place at Christmas
which
or
is
not.
why it's the worst Christmas movie.
It's the worst Christmas movie because it doesn't take place at Christmas.
But yeah, I would say Home Alone 3 just because 1 and 2 were so good. And they should have, if they were going to keep making Home Alone movies, they should have just kept it with Macaulay Culkin. I know he's probably getting older and maybe they felt like it was like, if it's like either they should have ended the series with 2, or they should have made one more with Macaulay Culkin.
There was a lot of things going on.
Favorite. Yeah,
like John Hughes came up with the original concept for Home Alone, and then Chris Columbus, who would eventually direct the first 2 Harry Potter movies, directed the first 2 Home Alone movies. And by the time you get to what would have been Home Alone 3, Chris Columbus had already moved on with things like Mrs. Doubtfire. Macaulay Culkin was viewed as like getting a little too old to play the helpless kid, even though he was never really helpless in those movies. But that's the way they're like, oh, he's too old to be Home Alone. I would watch adult Macaulay Culkin at Home Alone today. Like
just ordering Uber Eats and hanging out at home.
I think that there was a YouTube video where he made a joke about that, as an adult a few years ago.
But I think that those are all excuses because I think the real thing is that Chris Columbus was just done making them, but the studio still wanted to keep making, so they made Home Alone 3 with a completely new cast. And I don't know, I hate it. I mean, Home Alone 3, honestly, it's not that bad, but it feels worse because it's not the original cast.
Exactly. It's like it's an okay movie. It's just a terrible Home Alone movie. Oh, and that was the thing I forgot to mention. One of the reasons why I like Home Alone so much is because not only does Kevin learn to appreciate his family, he also learns to face his fears, because remember he's helpless, but he like learns how to go grocery shopping. He's afraid of like the furnace or whatever, and then he realizes that he go ahead, Sam.
Oh, and then he also befriends the shovel guy who is like super scary.
Shovel Man.
They humanized Shovel Man, which was very sweet and very touching.
Yeah. But I really liked it. It was a good movie. It had a lot of good lessons. But anyway, so that's why Home Alone 1 was so great, and Home Alone 3 is the worst Christmas movie ever made, in my opinion.
Okay, Sam, what's your least favorite Christmas movie?
So, this day and age, I would say, and it's just because there's something about it that is so creepy to me, but it's the Polar Express. I used to love the Polar Express when I was younger, and it was like, okay, that technology, yeah, okay, I can get into this. It's Tom Hanks, awesome. Watching it as an adult, just the deadpan eyes with like no soul behind them, it's very unsettling.
Uncanny Valley.
It's very unsettling, and I just find a very difficult time watching it.
I loved that they made that joke in the Rescue Rangers movie with Seth Rogen's character. Like, ooh, he's got those dead Polar Express eyes.
He's got those dead Polar Express eyes. Yep, exactly. It's just, and there's so much chaos happening. It's just like one big stress ball the whole time. It's like I want to love it, I want to get back to loving it, but I just can't. No. It's too creepy.
I would argue that there are plenty of bad ones. Unfortunately, the good Christmas movies that are really good, but there's way more bad Christmas movies than good Christmas movies, because a lot of Hallmark movies, for example, are like the Christmas
Oh, no.
like, I don't know, I won't name any of them because I don't name them. I won't name any of them.
You
But
don't remember Sweet Girl Goes Back to Hometown for Christmas and Discovers Love?
isn't that like all of them? That's the joke. That's like me and Matt used to have that joke. Remember that episode of Fresh Prince where Will gets in trouble and Uncle Phil gets really mad? Like,
Every episode.
yeah, like, listen, if your favorite part of the holiday season is watching Hallmark Christmas movies, then, power to you. But, like, so many of them are so bad, I can't choose one. They're all just, like, made on a $5 budget,
I feel like if you need something on in the background, I mean anything, and you have limited options, sure, pop on a Hallmark. But no, there's so many worse things that could be played.
All right. Well, Chris, let's go to you for...
Oh, wait, did you say your least favorite?
I did. I can't choose one, but definitely one of the Hallmark movies.
One? Pick
A Christmas
something.
Prince, is that the name of one of them? I don't know. Whatever my dad had on
All right,
last
so
year.
Rich is choosing every single
Every
Hallmark.
single Christmas Hallmark
Rich,
movie.
out of curiosity, did we want to ask the chat and get some of their impressions on best and worst?
If you guys have a, just
Put-
they've
put,
been saying, people putting stuff in there.
To get you guys included, clarify if it's your favorite or your least favorite, because I saw some people posting some stuff, but it'd be fun to read yours. So
I do want to say, Sun Goku said, when will we be getting the Golden Compass 2? Hopefully never. But don't forget that the book series, His Dark Materials, which is what that movie's based on, did get an HBO series, which is past season 3 now, I want to say. The first season was the same story as the Golden Compass, and they went way beyond what the Golden Compass had. So technically, the Golden Compass, although not a true sequel to the Golden Compass, but they rebooted that series as a show on HBO, and they do go past it. Yeah.
here
So if
we
you're
go.
interested
Is it
in that,
actually called The Golden Compass?
the show is called His Dark Materials, just like the books.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people don't realize that. But yeah, the book series was called His Dark Materials. The show, I've seen it. It's really good, actually. It's way better than the Golden Compass. We used to make Golden Compass jokes, and like Wario is like, I love the Golden Compass.
I do love The Golden Compass.
Yeah, Megasato says favorite Home Alone 2 and least favorite Polar Express.
Very nice.
Anyways, thank you, Son Goku. That kind of goes to my next topic, which is underrated Christmas
Ooh.
movies. I'll start this time with Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Now, there's a lot of those Rankin Boss claymation movies, like there's Rudolph, and then there's like The Year Without Santa, which I actually don't care for, surprisingly. I know.
You don't like Heat
Yeah,
Miser and
he's
Snow
Mr.
Miser?
He, like, that song is fun and catchy, but that
It
movie
gets
is...
stuck in your head for decades.
It's not as good as Santa Claus is Coming to Town was definitely the best of any of those, because it tells the origin story of Santa Claus, and I thought it did it really good. As a kid, though, I thought, oh, this is so epic and cool. As an adult, I've rewatched it, and maybe it's not as good as I remember it being as a kid, but I do love the attempt at trying to humanize Santa Claus and having an origin of like how he became Santa Claus. But that kind of leads to Chris's. So we'll go to Chris now.
So I feel like this is underrated because I don't think that many people talked about it, but 2019's Klaus or Claus was a movie that came out on Netflix that was the origin story, and it was funny because it's the guy who made The Illumination, Despicable Me. The guy who directed Despicable Me and made all the Groot and the Minions and all that stuff. He saw Batman Begins with Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale and said, like, wow, I love the origin story. I want to make one for Santa Claus. So if you haven't seen it, what's so interesting about it is it kind of feels like a Renaissance Disney movie. And there were a few things that were great about it. One, it was just a really cool story. Two, the main character isn't even Santa Claus. It's this guy who's like the protagonist. And it feels a lot like Emperor's New Groove, interestingly enough. It's like a spoiled kid who basically has to learn to grow up and go through like some hardships and like learn some important life lessons as he like matures from adolescence into adulthood, and it's kind of like almost a coming of age movie. So not only was it a great movie that had a really good story, the last thing I really liked about it is The animation, they used a really unique style where it was 2D animation, but they used a lighting technique that almost made it look 3D, so it was like 2.5D, but it was hand drawn. So you guys probably know that a lot of the 2D Disney movies in the 90s and the early 2000s, they stopped making them and they went like the Pixar 3D. So this feels like what the Disney Renaissance movies would have evolved into if Disney had kept that like 90s theme of movies. So long story short, I know I've ranted quite a bit on this, but check out Klaus on Netflix this year. It's going back to what I said about Elf. If Elf was not the last classic Christmas movie, Klaus has to be.
Gotcha.
So I had a lot to say. Here you go, Sam.
Here, I might have two. Underrated. Definitely Muppet Christmas Carol, but I do feel like
yeah.
a lot of people really do like Muppet Christmas
But
Carol.
people talk about Muppet when they were like, "Oh, what's the best version of A Christmas Carol?" I have not heard a lot of people say it's their favorite Christmas movie or underrated or anything
but
like
it's
that.
so good. I mean, you can't hate the Muppets. You can't.
There's magic in the air today. There's magic in the air. Yeah,
The other-
definitely great songs.
The other one, and I don't know if you guys ever saw it, but it was the Seth Rogen and the Joseph Gordon-Levitt one. It was the night before. Did you guys ever see that one?
I did see that. Yeah.
It was pretty funny. I mean, I don't even usually like Miley Cyrus, but in that movie with the whole wrecking ball thing, it was hilarious. The whole scene with the piano that they're doing, trying to recreate Big was so funny. I definitely feel like it's underrated, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good choice.
So, first, I want to explain what I think makes a good Christmas movie.
Here we go.
And then I'm going to loop that in to why certain movies that people celebrate at Christmas do not. Let me just say this. Okay. I think that the elements that make up a good Christmas movie, unless it's like something like Klaus, for example, that directly have to do with Christmas lore, what makes Home Alone a good Christmas movie and not just a movie that takes place on Christmas is that it has to do with family reconciliation.
Yeah.
The deepest and most meaningful part of modern day Christmas is that you come together as a family and celebrate in unison. And a lot of these movies like Home Alone, like Elf, have to do with either lost children or separated family that by the end of the movie come together, realize the meaning of Christmas, and it's family reconciliation. Some movies, hear me out, some movies like Gremlins and Die Hard are movies that definitely take place on Christmas, but they are not really Christmas movies. And I know we get into this, like apples and oranges, hot dogs, a sandwich, arguments all the time. But I would argue, for me personally, I do love Gremlins. I'm not saying I don't like Die Hard. I love Die Hard. It is truly one of my favorite movies of all time. But is it a Christmas movie? Sorry, but no. Great movie, not a Christmas movie. It's a great movie that takes place on Christmas.
I mean, it must be really hard to be wrong. Gremlins, first of all, Gremlins. Okay, there is an element of family there. Okay, he befriends Gizmo. They're family now. I mean, he's got to care for it. He's got to feed and water it just as long as it's not after midnight. He's basically got a child. He's a papa now. It's a Christmas movie. Family fun, okay? Family fun. Also, for me, it's not Christmas until I see Hans Gruber fall.
I think the thing is, I just love, like, again, when Chris and I argue over whether a hot dog is a sandwich or not, I know what I'm doing, right? I love arguing semantics. I'm not being 100% serious. I don't if Die Hard's your favorite Christmas movie, it's fine. I don't care. Like, I just love to bring it up because it's an argument that pisses a lot of people off is all.
A lot of times I've seen, and I haven't watched this movie in ages, but on the topic of greatest Christmas movies of all time, family reconciliation, is It's a Wonderful Life the best when it comes to checking off that box?
I think that It's a Wonderful Life is the epitome of...
Is that the pinnacle of Christmas movies?
I think, again, it's not, like I said, I didn't say it's my favorite.
But I heard somebody talking recently that, like, it's the greatest Christmas movie of all time because it really hits your credit.
We get a lot of, like, again, we're talking about semantics here, so I'll just say this. Like I said, my favorite Christmas movie of all time is the Santa Claus. I didn't say.
Oh,
I didn't say
versus greatest.
Yeah.
Is this
Greatest
Casablanca versus
because a lot of times when you ask people like, "Oh, what's the greatest whatever?" they'll say their favorite. My Toki, my
Kitty cat
the
is
cat's
back.
clawing me. My favorite Christmas movie is The Santa Claus. That doesn't mean I think it's the greatest Christmas movie. It's just my favorite. People need to separate the difference. You know, people can say, "Oh, I don't think Citizen Kane's the greatest movie of all time because I didn't like it."
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You didn't like it doesn't mean it's not the greatest movie of all time. You just perhaps need to search your soul and realize why you have bad taste. Or, I don't know, come to Jesus or something. But you gotta
We're being infiltrated by
theme is
cats.
Christmas.
Oh God. What are you doing?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of like that age-old debate. I think, gosh, I was taking a film class a long time ago. They said Citizen Kane may be the greatest movie of all time, but deep down, Casablanca is everyone's favorite. Who's like a film critic,
Right,
There's a difference
sure.
between what's objectively the best and which you enjoy the best. But
Well,
anyway,
Adam, okay. We were just talking about Christmas movies.
but-
We're gonna-
yeah.
Favorite movies. I mean, you know,
Rich is like, I don't
Godfather.
even- Rich is like, I don't even like Casablanca that much.
Godfather is above Casablanca
Yeah.
for me. All right, but anyways, we're not talking about that. It's about Christmas.
Sorry, I went on a tangent here. I guess what I was trying to say is, would you personally consider It's a Wonderful Life objectively the greatest
As
Christmas
far
movie
as
of all time?
Christmas themes go, yes, I think it's the best.
I
at
mean,
that.
it hits all of your criteria.
Yeah. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
I've perhaps seen it too many times in my
Did we
life,
just
but it's a
get to
great
the
movie.
Overrated portion of Christmas.
I mean,
SMG Makey says we should talk about Home Alone. You're gonna have to rewatch the video because we talked about Home Alone
Quite
a
a
lot.
bit.
Yeah.
yeah.
But thank you.
Also, can we, going back to Home Alone, actually, can we just discuss how, like, he's basically just setting traps and, like, learning how to be the dude from Saw?
Oh yeah, like Kevin McAllister definitely turns into Jigsaw.
Like, with all of his traps and everything, he's just perfecting it as a kid, you know? I mean, imagine that kid, Kevin McAllister, grown up, trying to fend off people and the amount of bloodshed.
Yeah. The logical Home Alone 3 is Saw.
Very nice. Christmas movies you didn't know had dark sequels.
Hello, White Bandits. I want to play a game.
Sticky bandits.
By the way,
Oh, yeah.
this is a friendly reminder to give this a big thumbs up if you haven't already. Be sure to like this video because that's how you feed the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, Kevin is young Jigsaw.
Young Jigsaw. Okay, so I was talking about my, things that make a good Christmas movie, perhaps, in my opinion. But again, I love Gremlins. I love Die Hard. I'm not saying people are like, Richie doesn't like. I love Die Hard. It's one of my favorite movies. I'm just saying maybe it's not a Christmas movie. It's a movie that takes place on Christmas. But anyways, moving on. Movies that we don't know if they're Christmas movies or not, right?
Oh, here we go.
So I'm going to start with the most famous example.
Oh, I
that
know what you're gonna say.
Come on.
Which is The Nightmare Before
Yeah.
Christmas. Is it a Halloween movie or is it a Christmas movie?
It's a good question.
Now, I have argued that technically it's both because it has elements of Halloween and, Santa Claus, and the whole goal of the movie is that they're trying to do Christmas. So does that make it more Making Christmas. So does that make it more of a Christmas movie than a Halloween movie, or do you watch it at some point in November, or does it really not matter?
It's funny. I asked you this one time, and you know what? You remember what you said to me?
What?
You said, Chris, it's the nightmare before Christmas.
Oh yeah, I guess ultimately I said because the title kind of says it all. It's
But also, is that just because October comes before December?
True.
right. But if it's The Nightmare Before Christmas, doesn't the title The Nightmare Before Christmas signify that we're talking about Halloween?
I would say it goes back to what you said at the beginning. It's both.
It's both. Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
But it's a good thought experiment.
I personally, I can't watch it at Christmas time. I barely watch it at Halloween. So it's just, Hot Topic ruined it for me a little bit. All the merchandise.
Somebody is always going to make me watch it at Halloween and Christmas, so it's truly both. But we're talking about it doesn't matter if you like it at Halloween, great. If you like it at Christmas time, both. You can flatten a pancake all you want, but it's always going to have two sides.
That was a Dr. Phil reference,
I
ladies
stole
and
that
gentlemen.
I definitely stole that from Dr. Phil. It sounds like the dogs. The
tail's wagging the dog.
Yeah, I already messed that one up. Anyways,
Let's take a break.
Let's take a break. Anyways, so now that Chris, did you have anything to add to that, by the way?
No.
I do.
Oh, you do?
Not to Nightmare Before Christmas, but to the
Oh,
topic
to
at
more
hand.
about, like, you're not sure.
Yeah, not sure if it's a Christmas movie or not. I would say Edward Scissorhands.
Ooh.
What do you guys think?
Interesting.
I never think about it in Christmas terms. I know that there's a part of the movie that does take place on Christmas, right?
Yeah, and it's snowing through most of the movie.
But when I think
and
of that
it's-
movie, I don't think I've ever watched it around Christmas time.
No,
No.
not once.
I would say it's not a Christmas movie.
No.
Great
No?
movie.
What do you think, Chris?
Probably not,
No.
but close.
But close. It's a touch of Christmas.
We'll call it Christmas adjacent. There we go.
Yeah, and I remember there's a lot of movies that do have a majority of the movie, or at least a part of the movie, that take place on Christmas. And a lot of them I just forget about unless it's like a strictly Christmas movie.
I got another one.
Oh, you got another one? What is it?
I do.
Oh.
What do you guys think about Harry Potter?
I was just actually thinking that. I wasn't
Yeah.
going to say it,
Yeah.
but I kind of think of Christmas.
Again, Chris
or Harry
Columbus.
Potter. Well, it's because they make a big deal about Christmas, and I used to
Yeah.
Happy
read books.
Christmas, Harry.
Well, because a lot of times the movies came out around Christmas, so
Yeah.
they made me
did.
think about actually. Well, yeah, but it made me think about Christmas, and they briefly celebrate it, so I associate it with it a tiny bit. But it does. In fact, there's a funny thing on YouTube where it's just Ron and Harry, and it just loops. Happy Christmas, Harry. Happy Christmas, Ron. Happy Christmas, Harry. Happy Christmas, Ron. It's like Happy Christmas looped for 10 hours.
Yeah, McKinley says, anything from the trolley days.
I mean, going by Rich's logic and having family in the movie, that should be Harry Potter,
Did
right?
you just get the true underrated Christmas movie?
Yeah.
You're a Harry wizard.
You're a happy birthday.
Actually, you finish your thought because I got.
I think that Harry Potter is a fine... It's not a Christmas movie. Harry Potter's not a Christmas movie.
Going by your logic.
But it is a great movie that you can absolutely watch at Christmas time.
I've got another movie that is not related to Christmas at all, but because it was released during Christmas, I always associate it with the Christmas season.
Which is
Lord of the Rings. Was anybody else thinking that?
I was thinking that
well,
too.
Because
I am now.
what I've noticed is Lord of the Rings came out during Christmas, and I like to rewatch it every year. And I've noticed I've always rewatched it really close to Christmas. And then when they released the Hobbit movies, they released them close
Now,
to
do you
Christmas.
think that we would associate those movies with Christmas at all if they hadn't come out in November?
I don't think
Like-
so. But I associate it with
It's quite
Christmas,
cool.
and I just like especially because the extended versions are so long. Usually, because Christmas you have time off.
Well, yeah.
I'm just like, well, time to bust out the extended version of Fellowship here for like 4 hours or whatever it is.
Chris has been in his room for like 2 days. Is he okay?
What a great
He's celebrating Christmas.
pick. So we can celebrate the resurrection of our Lord and Savior Gandalf the White.
It does check off all the Christmas themes.
I got a question though, for both of you.
Narnia, on that matter.
Oh,
Well, maybe let's not deep dive that one.
If you ever wanted to actually finish that series,
Now, okay, I got a question for both of you guys. Have you seen both the animated Grinch from Illumination that came out and, obviously Jim Carrey's The Grinch?
is the animated? Are you talking about the new one that just came
Yeah.
out recently? I have not seen the newest
You
one. I've only
haven't
seen the
seen
Jim
it.
Carrey one.
I know a lot
What
of
are your
people-
opinions
how does-
on
how
the
does it-
different?
I mean, I was just
Rich
telling
has
my parents
opinions.
because they were going to watch the Jim Carrey one the other day, and I said, that's great, but watch the Benedict Cumberbatch one.
Yeah.
Because I love Benedict Cumberbatch, and I thought that his, when you watch the old 50s cartoon or wherever
Yeah.
it's from, based
Is
on
he,
the book
is he
from Dr.
closer
Seuss,
to the better adaptation?
I just feel like if you're going to stretch a 10-minute children's story into a movie, I felt like what I imagined in my head was more closer to the Benedict Cumberbatch movie, and maybe because it is a cartoon also. I love Jim Carrey, but Jim Carrey is basically just more sarcastic Jim Carrey in that movie. Again,
Yeah.
it's a great movie. I love Jim Carrey's The Grinch. I grew up with that movie. Brilliant directing by Ron Howard, but I feel like the Benedict Cumberbatch Grinch is the better Grinch, at least. If not the better movie, it's the better Grinch. I don't know.
I feel like when they did the Jim Carrey one, obviously there's a lot of jokes in there more for the parents of people kids watching it. The newer one I do feel like is more targeted towards kids, but it also has a lot of that same kind of humor in it. Not quite to that extreme, but definitely has moments, and I thought it was pretty good. I think I like them both separately for different reasons. But yeah.
Oh God. McKinley says Terrifier 3 is going to be a Christmas movie. Now let's get something
Wait,
straight.
is it really?
Let's
Is
get
that
something
real?
straight. That will be 1,000% a movie that takes place at Christmas. There's no way that that's a Christmas movie. It just takes place at Christmas. Again, that's why I have to say these things.
Okay, what if though they like totally throw you off and do just like a really wholesome Christmas movie with Terrifier opening presents and like
I gotta say, if it gets worse than that first one, I don't care to see any of the sequels. To be honest, the first one was gross enough. Let's stop. Let's just stop.
Just don't.
You know.
Fun random thing, by the way. I don't know if you already read it, Rich, but
What?
McKinley earlier said, by the way, happy late birthday.
Oh, thank you, McKinley. By the way, the reason we're looking, we have the comments on a huge projector behind us, so like that's why we can read everything. Okay, so
I was going to say, hello, Crazy Hannah. Thanks for jumping in, and thank you again to everybody who joined us today.
okay, so we've talked about underrated, or favorite, least favorite, underrated. Movies that we're not sure if they're Christmas movies or not. Well, I had another topic.
You
right?
want to talk
have another
about...
topic.
Oh, yeah, you had a good
I
one.
have another topic.
Oh, you do?
Yes, it's still going with in the Christmas movie theme. What are your guys' opinions on horror Christmas movies?
Oh, right. I did see somebody mention that. In the
Yeah,
comments as
like
well.
Krampus. I don't know.
Santa's Sleigh featuring Goldberg, the wrestler, is my favorite because I was really into wrestling at the time, in childhood, and just to see Goldberg come down as Santa Claus and kill Fran Drescher and who else was it? Chris Kattan. I think my favorite part of that movie is just the beginning because they got all these celebrities to like play this weird family, and then they have Goldberg come down the chimney and just kill everybody. It's so bizarre. James Caan was also there.
I was going to say, related to something, I don't know if it was necessarily Christmas, but Stranger Things, the first season, remember the part where she has like the light bulbs and
Christmas
there's the
lights,
Christmas
yeah.
lights?
No.
That was really scary, and I really liked the first season of Stranger Things. So I would put that as Christmas horror adjacent.
Yeah, Christmas horror adjacent.
But that was the first one that came to mind.
I have not seen it. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's definitely on my list of things. Is Violent Night with
Oh yeah,
Hopper from Stranger Things.
right.
So
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet either. Is it any good, Sam?
I haven't seen it. No, I was what I'm saying.
Oh,
I
oh,
haven't seen it.
you
I was
haven't seen
hoping you guys have seen it.
A lot of people have been mentioning the Mean One, which is like the horror film that is like it's supposed to be like a guy that dresses up like the Grinch and kills people. Like I don't need to see
I haven't
that.
even heard-
I
I haven't
haven't
even
even
heard of
watched
it.
what is Winnie the Pooh, like Blood and Honey or whatever. Like,
jeez.
God.
like we don't
That's
need
horrifying.
we don't need to make a horror movie off of everything, right?
No, we don't. Some people do.
What about Bad Santa? Where does that land?
Oh, that's just funny.
Comedy.
But yeah,
I don't know if it's aged well though. I don't think it's very PC
we
anymore.
really don't need to make a horror movie based on everything. It's like this time Ronald McDonald is gonna supersize your brain with this. I don't know, like. I don't know, Chris. What do you got?
I got nothing. If we're switching topics to music, I've got a lot of opinions. I think that was Sam's idea.
Nicholas Patton says Bambi and Peter Pan are also getting horror movies. It's like,
Oh,
come
geez.
on, please. Like, we're done. We've truly run out of ideas.
Can I just say Bambi and Peter Pan are basically horror movies? I mean, my God, the mother dies. Come on. And if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, I just spoiled it for you.
Ooh, spoilers.
Rich, did you see what Grey Wind just said?
Oh, I've actually never seen it apparently, but The Godfather takes place as Christmas is Yeah, you could say The Godfather is a Christmas movie too.
Christmas adjacent,
But it's
Rich?
not, it's Christmas adjacent.
Rich, is Godfather your favorite movie now? Did it just surpass Jurassic Park?
No, what I've said, and again, I was generalizing when I was talking about Citizen Kane. Said for me personally, at
You think
least,
it's the greatest movie
my
of all
favorite
time?
movie of all time is Jurassic Park. The greatest movie of all time is perhaps The Godfather. I was just
Got
using
it.
Citizen Kane as the example.
As the
'cause that
example.
is the kind of
Because
like
Citizen
the
Kane,
globally-
Casablanca tend to be the best versus favorite, but you would say it should be
like the AFI,
Jurassic
like
Park.
distinguished
Yeah.
and like globally recognized best film of all time is Citizen Kane. Don't get me wrong, Citizen Kane is a great movie, but it's not The Godfather. And yeah, guess what? You can say that about anything you want to.
Yeah, there you go.
So there we go. I also love The Godfather. Anyways, so let's get into Christmas music. The one thing that I want to talk about is which song I'm gonna start it out with this. Which song is overplayed? I know a lot of Christmas movies are overplayed, but I want to go first because the stupid, Wham, and people hate the Wham. I know I'm not alone. People hate Wham's, Last Christmas. The last Christmas I gave you my heart. The very next day you gave it away. Anyways, that song, you've all heard that song. It's horrible, right? There's been remakes that are equally as bad. But that song is so bad that they've made a drinking game out of it. Anytime you hear it on the radio, they've also made a game like, how can you survive? Like, I forget exactly. There was a game where it was like, oh, if you hear Wham's song, then you lose or something. There was some stupid game about it. What is the most annoying Christmas song?
At Christmas time, my ears bleed when Mariah Carey comes on.
I was literally just thinking the same thing.
Also, the Chipmunks, too. I know, it's a classic one, but it just plays all the time. Me, I want a hula hoop. Yeah, I know, I was dead on. That was a dead on impression. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say Mariah Carey. It's too good.
Like
it's
All I Want for
Mariah
Christmas.
Carey. It's
All I want for Christmas.
the funny thing is, there was one time I saw somebody. It was on September 1st. They used to have. Oh, it was the Google Trends chart, and it shows how on September 1st it goes up like one tick because that's when people start to think about Christmas. And somebody like zoomed in on it, and it showed it like has like 1% interest, and it was like, so it begins. People are Googling "All I Want for Christmas" by Mariah Carey. September 1st is the Christmas season. So, yeah.
I think that like all of like the classic. So there's like, I would say that there's two eras of
I was
Christmas
about
music,
to
right?
say the same thing, like traditional and then like modern.
Well, maybe there's three eras of Christmas music.
There's now three
Because there's the actual like old timey like.
you're thinking like 50s, 60s.
No, before
You're-
that.
oh,
I'm
you're-
talking about like there's actually
you're talking traditional, like-
traditional
like
Christian music,
actual
right? Like
Christmas
Oh Holy
music.
Night,
Yeah.
Our dear Savior's birth. That's like actual Christmas music, by the
Real
way.
Christmas music.
real Christmas music. And then there's like the kitschy 1940s, 50s, like here comes the Santa Claus, and here comes the Santa Claus. Elvis.
19
Frank
yeah.
Sinatra.
So Frank Sinatra is just like, get those reindeer. I don't know, like it.
I get your point. Yeah.
What was it? Perry Como and all the, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Like, so there's all the, hold on, I'm not done yet. So that was I would say that the modern age of Christmas music, post 50s nonsense, is like things that were like subversive. And I guess you could unfortunately put the Wham song in there too. But it really started with John Lennon with War Is Over, like, and so this is Christmas. Like that started like a completely different tone of
So
Christmas
you
music.
would start that as modern Christmas,
Yeah.
post 40s and 50s.
The what do we call that? Industrial
Mid-century
mid-century modern,
post World War II,
postmodern,
post
Art Deco,
Post-Art
Christmas
Deco,
music
yeah.
really started with John Lennon, kind of giving it a whole new meaning. Where it's not just like Santa Claus and reindeers. He's saying like, and he actually kind of goes into like what I say, which is like like the family stuff. Like John Lennon was saying, it's like this is Christmas. War is over. It's like, it's not Christmas until there's peace, was kind of the whole thing with that. And I would say that really bled into like the more thoughtful Christmas music, which is really lacking these days because most people, when they do a Christmas album, just do covers of older Christmas stuff. Paul did one, Wonderful Christmas Time.
That is a really good one.
Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Yeah, but like most people are just covering older stuff and they don't think about it, which is why they're in fact, Sean Lennon, his son, is working with Peter Jackson. Again, I know Peter Jackson's been doing a lot of Beatles stuff lately, but he's directing with his company Weta a 3D cartoon music video for this, for John Lennon's song.
Oh, wow.
That has to do with like the time during World War I where everybody stopped to play soccer together. Like Germans, Americans, and Europeans.
The Christmas
on
Miracle.
Christmas
Yeah.
they stopped and were playing games and stuff.
There was a commercial recently that came out that recreated that. It was very, very touching. And it literally was a Christmas miracle.
Let me see. Okay, yeah, McKinley Miles. Oh, yeah, the Jackson 5. I saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. There are so many reasons why that song is creepy. Somewhere Daddy's crying in like a closet, just like, why, Carol?
So, Rich, you want to do a favorite modern song and then a favorite traditional? Because I have two I really like, and I was thinking,
Okay.
you want to?
I think that, yeah, if we're going modern, again, assuming that modern starts at Lennon, I would probably say that John Lennon's song is probably my favorite modern. My favorite classic song might be, the way that, oh God, I can't remember. Who's the guy who sings, some people walk hand in hand, that guy,
Oh, God.
Who is it? What's his name? I can't
Somebody
remember.
in the comments tell us.
I sang it. I did a cover of it on this channel years ago. Wonderful, wonderful. That guy, whoever
That's not Nat King Cole, is it?
that's not Nat King Cole.
Is it Hanson?
It's definitely not Hanson. It's an older singer. Anyways, he sang a version of, chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Yeah.
Jack Frost nipping at your nose. Specifically, his version of that song is the song that I look forward to every year. And actually, what's his name? It's Bill Gibson.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thanks, Stuart.
My favorite. Okay, never mind. Stuart, what are you doing here?
We both went different. I went Mad TV with that. You went SNL.
No, damn it. What's the...
No.
Okay,
All right. Well, while Rich is forgetting, I'll share mine. So in terms of like modern as in recent, I really like Amy Grant's Sleigh Ride. I think that might be the best version of Sleigh Ride. The giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, let's go. Hers is so happy, and it just captures that like warm nostalgia of like the 90s. That's how I feel when I hear it. Like I really like, for me, it's not Christmas till I listen to her. So that would be my favorite like modern one in terms of like not like 50s, but actual like traditional like older Christmas music. I really, really like O Come, Emmanuel, and I just heard a version of it by the King's Choir of Cambridge. Check it out either on Google.
Do you mean O Come Ye All Ye Faithful?
No. O Come, Emmanuel. Not O.
There's two O Comes.
No. It's a different version. It's like actual traditional. Shut up, Sam.
I didn't say anything.
I don't think I meant to sound like that. Oh,
This is
come, all ye
No.
faithful. It's
Have
in the
you-
public domain.
Wait, hold on.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm
Wait,
actually
wait.
12 years old mentally.
You've never heard the O come, Emmanuel.
Oh, yeah, we sang that in choir, didn't we?
That's a
Oh,
classic. That's a
come with
traditional.
me, oh, Israel. Yeah, like that.
No, but
yeah.
I was going to say there's a version of it by the Cambridge King's Choir, and when you listen to it, you feel like you just took a time machine
Didn't
back.
Pentatonic also do a version of
Yeah,
it?
they've done a lot of stuff.
Pentatonic's not
Anyway,
that
let me
stuff.
finish my thought, Richie, before you keep interrupting me. If you listen to the, I'll post it on the Discord, but the Cambridge King's Choir version of O Come, Emmanuel will make you feel like you just took a time machine back to like Great Britain when there were like kings and castles and stuff, and you're like in like the king's chamber on like a cold wintry night, and there's a whole bunch of knights with like torches and stuff, and they're like chanting, waiting for Christmas to come. It's really, 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 really cool. So, O Come, Emmanuel, traditional version. And now, yeah, that's all I got. really
McKinley says, did they freeze for everyone? Did we?
Are we frozen?
Hold on. Let me check real quick. Oh, my foot's asleep. Whoa. Holy
McKinley
smokes.
says, I think I had a winter stroke.
Sorry, my like foot totally fell asleep on that awkward spot on the couch. It looks good on my end. I think we're still here. Hey guys, put a 1 in the chat if we're good. Put a 2 in the chat if we're frozen. But Greywind says we're here. I think we're still good. I think it's I think we just had a false alarm there.
False alarm.
All right, so we're talking about Christmas music. Anybody else have? Okay, there we go. Thanks everybody. Yeah, I see the ones in the chat from them. Yeah.
I mean, if you've ever worked in any kind of sales, retail, customer service, you know that you have a special hatred in your heart for Christmas music.
Oh, because you just
Playing
hear the same
on
stuff looped. Yeah.
repeat all day.
I want to get, so I'm going to throw back to a little bit earlier for 1 second, because I realized that when we're talking about Christmas movies that may not actually be Christmas movies, I have a really hot take, and I've argued this with my sisters before, that this is going to upset potentially a lot of people, but I think that the most, and again, this is a great, what I'm about to say, this is a great movie, but it's not a Christmas movie, despite having Christmas in the title. So this is a real hot take. White Christmas is a movie about two showmen that are akin to like, Broadway stagement of the time. Think like well, I'm blanking on so many things right now. Rodgers and Hammerstein. Obviously the guys in White Christmas, they're supposed to kind of be like Rodgers and Hammerstein, but they put on more dancey shows. They meet up with these two girls, and they have to run away because I forget why they run away, but they go to Vermont, and they put on a show in Vermont to honor their general. They used to be in World War II or whatever. The whole movie is about trying to put on this show for their general. Christmas is neither the time period nor what anyone in the movie is talking about till the last 5 minutes of the movie, when they get on Santa outfits and do their last number as a Christmas number where they sing White Christmas. I'm dreaming of White Christmas, but I'm also dreaming of a movie that actually has to do with Christmas. What I'm saying is that movie is not a great movie, but I would argue that 99% of it is not a Christmas movie, therefore not really a Christmas movie at all. Chris.
I've never seen White Christmas, so
Wow.
I have no frame. Oh, also Sam?
Oh, no, I've never seen it either.
Now I feel better about myself.
Okay, good. I'm glad I could make you feel better. I was going to say, what do you guys think about, I know it's like one scene in the movie, so I know it's not really a Christmas movie, but, Mean Girls, the scene where they're doing the whole
yeah.
Christmas dance.
Yeah, it's like they do the Santa dancing Mean Girls. So if White
Yeah.
Christmas is a Christmas movie, then I guess so is Mean Girls. But it's not.
But it's not.
McKinley says, are we going to talk about like Twilight Zone Christmas episodes or
we
Christmas
should talk
TV
about
specials?
Christmas TV specials or Christmas TV episodes.
I know that, like
'cause I just
Doctor
thought of a
Who's
really
had
good
a
one.
couple of good ones. I'm trying to think of what else.
One that just came to mind is if you guys ever watched Community, it had Chevy Chase.
Oh, yeah, they
and
had
a bunch of
good
other
ones,
people.
yeah.
They had actually a really heartfelt, thoughtful episode. I think it was season 2, but it's where they do like a Rudolph the Reindeer style Christmas episode where they're all like the claymation. But it actually has like a very heartfelt story, and it's all about like family reconciliation and like people kind of coming to terms. But anyway, Community Christmas episode, very good.
I got nothing.
I see a lot of people late to the chat. Again, I argued earlier in the chat that, again, although I love Die Hard and I love Gremlins, those are not Christmas movies. They're just movies that take place on Christmas. To be a Christmas movie, you must have the thematic family reconciliation theme throughout your movie, which Gremlins and Die Hard do not.
Gremlins does.
Not really. He already loved his family. They didn't learn anything. Just
He learned how to love a small
he
furry
learned
creature
not to
and
feed
not
them
to-
at midnight,
and
and
to
then
follow
this-
instructions appropriately. He learned how to care for a small thing.
Stuart
Anyway,
says the nanny had a 2D animated Christmas special. I forgot about that. That was good.
no, I mean,
Mr. Sheffield.
basically, I mean, every TV show always has to do a Christmas special, and sometimes it's okay. Most of the time, it's not. It's pretty cringy. Just stick to the same algorithm, You got a good show going on. Just keep it going.
Actually, I remember there's kind of one, it kind of has to do with Christmas. There's one Twilight Zone episode where it's like all the toys in the bucket. Well, for most of, sorry, spoilers, but for most of the episode, you think they're actually like real people. There's like a ballerina and a clown and a soldier, and they're trying to figure out how they got in this oval prison that they can't get out of.
Are you also describing Saw again?
No. And so so they finally like stack each other up on their shoulder and they knock their prison over, and then it's a little girl that's like, "Hey, Daddy, those toys fell out of the bin," and they put all the toy clown and the toy soldier back in the bin and put it back upright.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of like Toy Story before Toy Story.
You are now entering the Twilight Zone.
But that was like, I think that episode was called something like Six Strangers
In Search of a Plot.
in Search of something. Yeah, in
That's
search
one
of
of
a
the
way out.
greatest episodes of all time.
But,
right?
well, yeah,
6
whatever-
characters in Search of a Plot.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, it's a really great. Yeah, Milkman. I said Tim Allen's Santa Claus was my favorite Christmas movie. Yeah, it's a great episode of Twilight Zone. Also, classic Twilight Zone with Rod Sterling. Great. 80s reboots, not so good. The Jordan Peele reboot, better than the 80s reboot, but still not, nothing will compare to, you're entering a dimension of sight and sound. Take, for example, for your viewing pleasure, Betty Gibson alone on a Sunday street in, whatever it was. Just nothing's going to beat that.
What happened to Betty? I need to
What
know.
she did not realize is that she was walking dangerously into the Twilight Zone.
I've seen a few people mention it in the chat, but Blue Feathers mentioned it most recently. Jingle All the Way is a really good movie.
I
And
love
they
Jingle
said
All the Way.
Richie likes Arnold.
Double man. It's double time.
Oh, there we go. Finally, Son Goku. Thank you. Son Goku likes O Come, O Come, Emmanuel also as a Christmas song.
I think that the thing is, the thing that makes the Santa Claus just slightly better than Jingle All the Way for me is just its timelessness. Like, there's a lot in Jingle All the Way that is just very mid-90s, which I love.
Yeah, which is
I
really
love
good.
it, but I can imagine a kids today watching Jingle All the Way thinking it feels a little dated. But Santa Claus feels more timeless to me.
I don't relate to this at all.
Where are the cell phones? Where's the social media?
Like the Santa Claus also takes place in the mid 90s because it was made in the mid 90s, but it like has less to do with the environment than I feel like kids trying to get action figures, like I feel like Jingle All the Way just kind of is like it's a product of its time a little bit more than like the Santa Claus could have been made at any time, I feel like. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Anyways.
I hear you.
Yeah, put that cookie down now. No. Okay, so we've talked all about
We've talked about movies.
Yeah.
We've talked about music.
have
We've
a
talked
good-
about shows.
I got a good question for
What?
both of you. When and how did you find out Santa wasn't real?
Ooh, well, I think it's possible that Santa Claus is a real thing.
Well, I still
don't
believe
like to say
Santa
he's
Claus
fake.
is real. You Santa doubter over here.
Anyways, I would say
I honestly don't remember.
I don't think my parents ever told me he wasn't real. I think it was like my friend in elementary school who was like, Santa's not real, right?
Yes, it's always that jerk kid in the back of the classroom, and you're just like, man, I'm so excited for Christmas break. Can't wait to see all the presents Santa got me. And they're just like, Santa's not real. It's your parents. And you're just destroyed forever.
Yeah, and then my teacher was definitively, it was like my 5th grade teacher was like, 5th grade? No, it must have been before
Yeah,
that.
it was like around. Well, here's what I do remember. I don't remember the moment that I stopped believing because it must have been in between Christmases. But I remember being on both sides of the argument. I remember being a kid in recess, like early in school, arguing with my friends that he existed, and then I remember a year later being on the opposite side, arguing that he didn't exist. But I don't remember what happened in the middle. Fortunately for me, I don't remember it being traumatic. But it is possible that I blocked out that memory.
You're just repressing it. He's been repressing it for years. He's going to wake up in the middle of the night to like a fever dream of, what?
Yeah, 2nd or 3rd grade for sure. Like, I was going to say, it was like, because it had to be because I remember the specific friend who went to a different school after 3rd grade.
Yeah, because he
me-
kept telling everybody Santa wasn't real. He had to move
And
schools.
I remember we got into an argument with the teacher, and the teacher was finally like, well, unfortunately, Santa Claus is not real. And I was like, oh. And but I don't remember ever bringing it up. I was so sad I didn't even bring it up with my parents.
Just distraught.
But I think my sister Catherine confirmed with me. I was like,
Hey,
Santa's
we
not real.
we
She's
gotta
like,
have a conversation, Catherine. I got some really important questions for you. Heartbroken.
Yeah. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter anymore, okay? Now, follow-up question. Do your parents still get you Christmas presents? Do you think they should still give you Christmas presents? And how old are you going to be until they stop giving you Christmas presents?
Oh, no, my parents don't really give me presents anymore. And in fact, they made a point to even say, they're like, hey, if you need like help financially or something, then that's probably okay. But they stopped like gifting like physical presents a while back.
Roller skates, thanks, Mom.
Like, I think sometime, like they'll give me like a nice gift card to Starbucks or Trader Joe's, but like, yeah, but not like, I'm not getting like toys. I might get some new socks from them.
Yeah, I was going to say, I usually still get gifts from my parents, and it's typically is some kind of clothing, like a jacket or like
Yeah.
a flannel.
Solid.
So we still do it, but it's not like, it's not consistent. Sometimes they just give me some money, which I very much appreciate. But it's the funny thing. It's like when you're a little kid, clothes are like really lame because you want toys. But then as you get older, clothes are actually like really nice because it's like, oh, I can use this every day. So anyway, Rich, you look engrossed in a chat.
Oh, I'm just reading all the comments.
What about you, Sam?
Well, luckily my car registration falls right around December, so usually My mom helps me out with that. I'm a pragmatic person. She's like, do you want me to get you something like you could get some makeup or something? And I'm just like, registration. It's spendy. Help with that, please. So, there you go.
Very nice. Well, I got a good one. What was the toy or the gift or whatever that you remember being the most excited about as a kid? In fact, Sam, this was kind of your question because you were asking, you had a gift-related question. But what was the one that you really, really, really looked forward to and anticipated? If you want, I could go first or I could
Go
go
ahead.
last. The one I remember the most, I mean, it's going to be kind of cliche, but it was the Nintendo 64, which if you guys haven't seen that video of the kid going,
right.
Nintendo 64, like, for me, that entire year, like, all of my friends in school had gotten a Nintendo 64. This was, like, the gaming console of the 90s, and I had to wait all year long, so when I finally got one, and I could play my Mario Kart and Banjo-Kazooie and all the other games that came out, I remember anticipating that one. Like, it felt like Christmas took forever to come because I was hoping I'd get it, but I didn't know for sure. But yeah, video game consoles usually were the ones I remember as a kid, like, really looking forward to. You know.
I'll counter that by saying that my favorite was my original Sony PlayStation.
And which game did you have?
I think the game that my parents actually like, because they bought this console. I think the PS1 version of Frogger was what was
Oh.
gifted with me because my parents didn't know what I liked.
Did Final Fantasy, was 7 out when it first came out?
Well, no, 7 was not out when it first came out, but very quickly
Very
afterwards,
quickly, yeah.
at least in America, because we got it a year or so later than they got the PlayStation in Japan. But yeah, I remember being so excited to be able to play Final Fantasy 7 when it came out. I was a fan of those games before, unlike
attack.
most Americans, I
goodness.
guess. But
That cat is not happy.
I had been a big fan of Final Fantasy 6, but it was known in North America as Final Fantasy 3, which is wrong. But I love, obviously everybody knows what a big Final Fantasy fan I am, but yeah, PlayStation, and I was finally able to play that, and then eventually Metal Gear Solid, another one of my favorite series. Resident Evil was big on the PS1. It was just a good time.
I want to quickly read Stuart's comment because I can totally relate to this. Stuart said, the most excited I've ever been during Christmas was getting my Nintendo DS. I had a Nintendo 64 kid moment with that. I played Pokemon Pearl a lot. Good times. That was me, but on the Game Boy and playing original Pokemon Red and Blue. Anyway, sorry to cut you off, Rich.
Your turn? You still
Did you finish? I don't know.
I did finish.
Okay,
I was
cool.
just waiting for Sam.
Here you go, Sam.
Okay. My most favorite Christmas present is right here. I got her when I was 15. This is Clara. Second favorite would be the cheetah print Furby, though. It was pretty lit. But she's the best.
And how old is Clara now?
17.
So that makes you 32.
Yeah.
Sorry, just
Math.
yeah. Clara's as old as the YouTube channel. She's 17.
She is.
There you go.
Anywho's, do we have anything else we want to talk about on this?
So we
very
talked
special-
about, just to recap, Christmas movies, Christmas music, Christmas TV shows, Christmas gifts, Santa Claus. I think we covered like all the good stuff.
Well, let's end it on one final question here. Does anybody have a favorite element of the season, being eggnog, cookies, candy canes, Christmas trees? What is your favorite aspect of Christmas outside of media?
Oh, you mean like what's your favorite thing about Christmas in general?
Yeah, pumpkin spice. Like what's your favorite part of
You're
the
just
Christmas
naming
season?
foods.
Wait, is it
obviously.
wait, is it food or do you mean like anything?
I say like Christmas trees, sledding, snow. Like what's your favorite element of the Christmas season?
Wait
Obviously,
for the next half
I-
hour of
I
Rich
have-
Alvarez naming Christmas things.
yeah.
I do
Is it like
No.
actually I do have like almost a liminal moment that is kind of special for me every year. And it's on Christmas Eve when all the presents are out. I'll get up like in the middle of the night to get a drink or go to the bathroom, and I'll walk over to the Christmas tree, and it'll be like dead quiet, but the lights will be on, all the presents will be there, and it's just kind of like savoring the anticipation of knowing that like the next morning is going to be so special. And it's kind of like, the best way I could describe it is it's like on the car ride to like a really, really fun vacation. It's like that moment right before. But like, anyway, almost every Christmas Eve, I'll have a moment where I just kind of like look at the Christmas tree, all the decorations, the lights, all the gifts, and it's like a special moment in time. So that's not necessarily my favorite, but it is something that kind of stands out and feels unique and special. If I weren't going to do all the typical cliche stuff. Not that the cliche stuff is wrong, but it's just kind of a special moment. Who's next?
Sam.
My favorite part about Christmas is seeing my kids' faces light up in the morning when Santa came, and there's all the magical cookies that have been eaten and the milk has been drinking. And they are just so stoked. It's like a total rager. They're like, oh my God, Santa!
Santa! Oh my God! You know, Elf.
Yeah, that is my favorite. And just sitting back and relaxing and having a Christmas breakfast and watching them open their presents and just being completely elated has completely overshadowed anything in regards to me or my own selfishness on Christmas. I live for their Christmas.
What about you, Toki? What's your favorite part of Christmas?
Hissing, biting.
I just want to say a quick shout out to TV Nicholas Krause. I see your comment, and I completely agree with you. Any other thoughts?
Well, I didn't say what my favorite part of Christmas
Oh, we were just going to skip Rich.
Favorite part of Christmas, man.
I think that some people, and I've actually heard from some people that they don't like this about Christmas, which is crazy. For me, it's just the general atmosphere. I like the colored lights and the warmth, fireplace, the smell.
Rich, I think the word you might be looking for is vibe.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. You're just a zoomer.
No cap, Chris. Gotta like.
No cap.
No
just
cap.
that Christmas
Dead ass.
vibe.
I really
Dude,
was
Period.
Riz. All right. Now that
I like the atmosphere of Christmas.
That's
I'm
actually a
not
better
saying vibe.
Where are you?
Good vibes, man. Good vibes.
word. There you go.
I'm too old for vibes.
Oh, ambience.
Well, there goes Christmas.
Yeah, ambience might even be a better word than atmosphere. Groove, vibe, ambience, atmosphere.
Hey, I've never seen that movie, The Lost City of Z, but I found out recently that it's based on a real thing where a guy was trying to find a lost city in the South Americas. Did they ever find that guy? I know, totally off topic, but like,
Did they ever find that guy?
I kind of want to see that movie now because I was like, oh, that's a real thing. I saw it on a YouTube video about mysterious things. I love unsolved things, by the way. I grew up watching Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack, and I love studying, like, B.D. Cooper, like, hijacking the plane because they never found him, or did they? Like, unsolved stuff. So our next stream, as long as it's okay with Chris.
I'm learning this right now. All right.
I just decided this just now.
Oh, boy.
Hi, I'm George Lucas. I just decided, always thought that, remember that?
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
I was just going to say, I'd love us to discuss, like, unsolved things, what really did happen to all those planes and boats in the Bermuda Triangle, like.
Are you just going to show up in random people's backyards with a trench coat?
Oh, yeah.
And just walk in on a Sunday?
I did make a joke, and again, this comes from an idea from years ago too, where we are going to make Unsolved Mysteries parody, but no one would get it. But I mean, we could still do it eventually. But I love the idea because if you guys have watched like the '90s show with Robert Stack, I just love that he's in his big trench coat and he's like, "No one ever found Missy Jane's," but he's like, "Yeah, he's just like in some yard." I'm like, what if like the window opened on the back of the house, like, "Hey, Robert Stack, what are you doing in our backyard?"
Robert Stack, not again!
No, if you'll excuse me, I have to run. Like, I don't know. Anyways, but I would counter that with whatever Chris, what's a good stream idea?
Actually, well, we've had an ongoing joke about Pokemon, and I kind of want our next, at least the big group one, doesn't have to be the next regular one, but I kind of want the next like mega super group podcast to be Pokemon themed.
Oh, I mean,
because
yeah,
we've been making so many jokes about it. I feel like it could be a good topic.
I don't think I'm ever going to get the group to agree to Unsolved Mysteries, so like that might be just one I do by myself.
Chris, what's your favorite Pokemon?
You're gonna have to wait until we do the Pokemon stream to find out on that one. Find out next time. Make sure you subscribe.
So yeah, we'll probably do the Pokemon next. I was just putting Unsolved Mysteries out there.
Rich, we'll do both.
Does anyone want to do Unsolved Mystery? Put a 1 in the chat if you want to do Unsolved Mystery.
A 1 in the chat if it's Unsolved Mysteries, and then a 2 if anything else. Thank you so much for your super chat, Radical Jaws Funny Moments, who super chatted a smiley face.
No.
Thank you, Radical Jaws. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's.
Yeah, I think we're wrapping up here. Chris, you got anything else you want to say?
I think that it's a good time for Christmas. Well, yeah, it's
Being
obviously
December.
it's a good time for Christmas.
It's a
being
good
December.
it's a good
Sorry,
time for Christmas.
I froze halfway through my thought. Oh, I was gonna say spend time with your family. That's what I was gonna say. Christmas is a good time to spend time with your family.
Radical Jaws Funny Moment says, no, my message got deleted. I guess there was a message with that super chat.
Oh, Radical,
so just type it again.
Put it in the chat. We'll wait for you. Oh, you know what else I was gonna say? This is kind of random, but something lately I've been getting into that I've noticed started to get kind of popular is these ambient YouTube streams where they'll have a
Lo-Fi
loop.
Girl, or
Kind of, but they'll have a loop of like a cozy Christmas cabin in the snow, and it's just kind of like a looped animation of like somebody sipping hot cocoa, kind of like Lo-Fi Girl, where she's just studying, but they'll just have like jazzy Christmas instrumentals in the background. And I was going to say, I've been starting to get into those more, and it's just kind of cozy to have it on.
Do you think that
You know what I'm talking about?
jazzy, kind of wintry, Christmassy versions of the Super Mario songs exist?
Oh, I
And
bet
if they
do.
don't, can we make them? Do, 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 do. And then I could just sit there as Mario for like an hour.
The ambient Rich Alvarez Mario you didn't know you wanted, but you needed. Oh, here we go. There's Radical Jaws. You want to read that, Rich?
Oh, Radical Jaws says. Sure. Oh, God. Okay. I watched 8 Crazy Nights for the first time, and it was way
too well
way
animated?
too well animated for what it was. I liked it, though, because it was so bad it was good. Have you seen it? Adam Sandler movie.
I've never seen it.
I have seen it. I mean, I haven't seen it since it came out, but I remember liking it at the time because I was a huge Adam Sandler fan at that time. Have you seen 8 Crazy Nights?
I have, but I have very little memory of it.
Okay. All right. Oh, Radical Jaws Funny Moments also says Nerds Acapella Revival. So Nerds Acapella, for anybody who doesn't remember, was just me and Chris like in my room. Because they were sick because we're doing it now.
We were just doing
was,
it.
Was us just being like do 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 like doing the Mario songs.
Those good times. Those got a lot of views too. That was back before auto tuning, so the bar was lower. Nerds Acapella Revival. You're welcome, Radical Jaws. You just got it.
They're much better live.
You know, have you seen Smooth McGroove? Do you know what I'm talking about? He's like that.
I love-
yeah. That's where I was trying to like channel right there.
Yeah, he does.
He's
like
got
this,
that. He's got
in his
that
cat.
like yeah. It was really good. Anyway. Whew. Oh, I just saw the hearts popping up. I hope you guys like that.
Well,
I think
we
that's
already talked about that. Thank you, Isaac. We did talk about that. We have differing opinions amongst ourselves on the Grinch. Anyways, I think that's pretty
that's a
much
good
about
place
it.
to wrap it up.
But hey, we should do another Nerds Acapella sometime, or not, because Pentatonics did better. But anyways, thank you all for watching our stream. Have a Merry Christmas and an even more pleasant New Year's, right, Chris?
You know what? I really like that. I agree.
All right, Sam. Say bye.
Did you?
Bye, everybody! Do the thing and the stuff and the thing that Rich says.
Oh, like and subscribe. Subscribe. It's free and easy, just like having a happy jolly Christmas.
I was gonna say, just like knowing that the real meaning of good Christmas movies is what was it? Family reconciliation.
Family reconciliation is the basis of all good Christmas movies.
All right, I gotta turn this off. So, Rich, you wanna like? Oh man, my foot
Are
totally
your
fell
legs asleep?
So, Rich, you want to do like a kitty cat? What is it? Play me off piano like ba 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 ba. Merry Christmas, everyone. We'll see you next time.